Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Delirium Hour.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
This is episode 4. Our first episode 4 ever.
Our first episode 4.
A new hope.
That shouldn't
I
be a
didn't think
big
we'd
deal.
make it this far, guys. I'm so proud of us.
But we did it though. Yeah.
We did, yeah. So, this time we are coming back to talk about superheroes. And just see where that takes us. We're going to talk about, news. We're going to talk about franchises. Obviously, Marvel versus DC. Maybe a lot of smaller hits that weren't that recognized. But I guess we can start the conversation. Marvel versus DC. What do you guys think?
Marvel versus DC.
Yeah. Not the game, though.
What do I think about Marvel versus DC? Marvel versus DC. They've been like two giants in the like comic book industry and now cinematic industry. Like, especially in like in the past decade, for sure. From like 2010 to 2020, they've been really battling it out with their movies. I think like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, for all you nerds. Yeah. I'm just joking. For all people who are into film, the MCU. If you don't know about the MCU, you've been living under a rock and you've been sheltered your entire life, and you probably drink spring water. Or what, Arrowhead? Yeah, who drinks Arrowhead? But
I do sometimes.
Ew, that was gross. That should be the real topic, dude.
I don't choose to.
You don't choose to. You just have poor taste. Got it.
No, it's like, okay, so like
Buy
if
you
you...
guys some Boss water.
Boss water? Oh, dang, dude. You definitely don't know what the MCU is. Sheltered
That's like
boy.
the difference between Arrowhead and Dasani.
Airhead and Dasani, there's a big difference, but that should be a different video.
Dasani tastes way better.
Dasani does taste a lot better.
Oh, actually, Aquafina. Aquafina is my favorite.
We're actually water connoisseurs.
Yeah.
We should make the YouTube channel about that.
Side note: if you think all water tastes the same, then you cannot be my friend because
yeah,
they do not taste the
if you
same.
think all water tastes the same, just taste Arrowhead and you'll want to throw up.
Yeah, but you know who else drinks water? Superheroes.
True.
Does Aquaman drink water?
He's always drinking water. That's how I see it. It's just like
if he drinks too much water, does he still drown, or is that just like I don't know?
That's just a
breathe?
Tuesday for him, man. It's just a Tuesday. Just like, hi, Mara. But yeah, what was I saying? The MCU, right? MCU, yeah.
Marvel versus DC.
Marvel versus DC. MCU has been killing the game. Everyone knows that. They've really pioneered that tied to cinematic universe thing.
Yeah.
I mean, people, I think other like franchises were trying that, but I think Marvel really solidified it, and it's been very apparent. Big money bucks, big money bucket, milking that cash cow, and DC's been and DC's been creeping up. I think we can all agree they've had flops on flops on flops. But I think in the recent years, or like the last like 2
I don't know. I wouldn't consider it like the Dark Knight trilogy a flop.
Oh, I mean, yeah, okay. It's because I was talking about like from 2010 to 2020.
Like after that.
Like with the whole DCEU and the MCU, because prior to that, like the MCU didn't exist. I mean, it did like in the early 2000s. You're right, like in like 2006, 2008, kind of like in that realm.
It wasn't really big yet.
Yeah. But they really solidified it with like the very first Avengers. And when we talk about Marvel versus DC, I think about like the DCEU versus like the MCU, since it's kind of like the most.
So like 2013 with like Man of Steel.
The most relevant, I guess, when it comes to.
I think was Man of Steel 2013. I'm not.
2012, I think. Oh wait, I don't know.
2011, right?
Those are 3 different years.
Oh my god.
We have laptops.
I actually have it up, and it is. Does anyone have any guesses?
12.
Was it said already?
It was 2013.
Yeah, 13.
13.
I would know, but I'm not gonna say why in case there's FBI listening.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, with the whole MCU versus DC thing, I think before we get since you brought it up, or you kind of like segue into it a little bit, so before we kind of get into like what's now, I guess we can talk about like how they were before, like the state of the state of the DC cinematic movies and the state of the Marvel cinematic movies like back then, and then we can talk about like now and what's to come, I guess. So
but I like that before there wasn't much of a universe competition going on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Everyone was just trying to make a good movie
Good
for the most part.
for the
Like,
most part, yeah.
The world building aspect wasn't really a thing until Avengers was so successful. I think that's when it kickstarted everybody else trying to make their own like
Yeah.
universes. Because
Oh,
you think
yeah.
about it before that too, like in the TV universes, you don't really have that whole like, oh, let's keep building and then we're gonna eventually have like a huge like team up episode or something,
They were no
right?
tie-ins and stuff.
Exactly. Like
Right.
whatever we did get, it was like their own universe. So I'm looking at like Smallville. Smallville had no intentions of ever like creating like a huge world,
Mm-hmm.
but it just kind of did it. I don't want to say accidentally, but if you think about it, you look back at that one, and there was like Aquaman. You had Flash. You had
Green Arrow showed up actually.
Yeah, Green Arrow for a
Yeah.
little bit. Oh wait, actually, what's his name? I think Aquaman is what Hawkman now or something, or no? He's
What?
yeah, Hawk
Hawk?
and Dove.
Oh, you mean like the actor that played?
Yeah.
Aquaman
I forgot
in
his name, but he
Smallville?
played Aquaman in Smallville, and
In
then now
Smallville?
he's
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's cool.
yeah.
I mean, it's nice to see that he's still keeping it in the DC universe, right?
Yeah. No, imagine if he played Marvel. But
I mean, there's been
no, it was cool to
flip-floppers.
see because like it was still a successful show, and you really didn't have to rely on waiting for like a big finale with like a bunch of different characters in one. You know, it's
Right,
still like
yeah.
a very original superhero show.
Yeah.
But then you look at it now and you see like Legends of Tomorrow, you see Arrow and like all the Flash characters. Now
Yeah.
they all have to have a team up, and like you wait for like the
crossover episode.
yeah, the crossover episode. It's
Yeah.
like, what's the point? Like, I'm watching the show because I want every single episode to have like merit. I don't want them to be just filler until you hit a big one.
Well, the expectation kind of changed. Like I think you take the very first few movies, like Iron Man, the very first few Marvel trilogies, like really kicked off the MCU. Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. I think during those times, yeah, they were kind of like it was all trying to lead up to the Avengers. Kevin Feige had this vision and everything, but back then, I felt like every single movie, I think like because they were starting out, they were really trying to kind of make every movie like count in a sense, and kind of like develop like, I guess, investment in these characters. And then after the first Avengers thing, I personally saw like this big shift where the expectation was more lied into like, how does everything connect like a puzzle or like whatever, or how does this fit in the big picture, like especially after Avengers, because I think after the first Avengers came out, like it just blew the audience's mind, like blew my mind, and like everyone was just wondering what's next and everything, and like that really created this whole ripple effect with even the TV shows. Now the TV shows are thinking about grand pictures instead of just individual seasons, or like
It kind of
mean,
feels like
not
the
instead.
movies are trying to do like they're kind of like series now.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like the
I
entire
think what
thing.
kind of kickstarted that though was like the end credit scenes. Like you remember
Yeah.
before Iron Man, the only few movies where I could say had a very significant like end credit scene were more of like a comedic take on it. It's not
Yeah.
essentially for like a world building purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you want to go all the way back, like I think of like Ferris Bueller. Like, do you guys remember that end credit scene?
Yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah,
come
it was
on,
hilarious.
man.
But it wasn't for like any specific purpose. It's just like, oh, if you
Yeah.
happen to be in the movie theater all the way until the end, like it's gonna be like a nice little treat.
Yeah.
But then after Marvel did it, next thing you know, like we're expecting it for almost every single movie
Every
that comes
movie.
out,
yeah.
and it doesn't even have to be a superhero movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You always have to ask, do we stay or do we leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like such a millennial Gen Z thing. It's like, oh, we
Right.
stay for the credits now. The credits are rolling, and after it's all black, like that one boomer in the crowd is like, so let's leave. No, man. You can't leave yet. There's something. And then there's like some stupid scene. And then like obviously for us, all of us were like, man, that was awesome. Well worth it. Well worth the wait. And again,
Yeah.
back to a boomer, he was like, what the heck?
Wasn't
is
there
that?
some troll ones? I forget.
Of
which,
course, yeah.
Like
What, superhero related or?
yeah.
A bunch. Like that, like
maybe
look at the
Captain
Avengers.
America? No,
Captain-
Spider-Man maybe.
Spider-Man?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
But I just remember being trolled once.
No, there were a bunch of troll ones. It just
Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
don't know which one you're thinking of, but I think of like the Avengers Shawarma one at the very end. It's
Yeah.
like, that has nothing to do with like what's next, but it was just for fun and everything. And I think like there were some even the beginning MCU movies, Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man, not all of them were like world building. I think most of them were just like fun ones.
No, I disagree. They're all world building.
Were they all world building?
Yeah, 100%. The whole build-up of Avengers was at the end of each movie almost.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, because at the end of Iron Man 1, Nick Fury shows up for the first time in, like, cinematic history.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of Thor, we get a little bit of world building from...
I do know
it was a stone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait, was it?
I think they previewed a stone.
They previewed a stone?
I can't remember.
Are you talking about the Ether in Thor 2, the crap movie that no one talks about?
I don't know, dude. I don't remember all the MCU films.
There's a bunch of MCU films now.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That could be a good thing if you're wanting to watch superhero movies during the quarantine. You could watch all of MCU.
Right. And they're mostly all on Disney Plus now.
I don't know if I can watch all of them. It's crazy. Yeah.
But what were we saying, dude?
We're talking about end credit scenes and everything. We're kind of the whole, I guess, world building, trying to tie everything in together, bigger picture, and how it bleeds over to like a lot of other, I guess, franchises, whether it's on TV shows or like this is a bit off topic, but the Universal really wanted to go ahead with their Monsters universe. They wanted to tie in the Mummy, the Invisible Man, Werewolf, and they were calling it the Dark Universe. We all know where that went, but total inspiration from the success that was the MCU.
Yeah,
exactly. And DC was trying that for a really long time.
We're still trying to.
Well, it's debatable, and I think we can get that when we talk about like what's to come, I guess, but I have some opinions on that.
I feel like it really does make sense for superheroes to be all together in these movies, though.
Yeah, well, it does. It's like it works out, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to get into this so soon, but like my standpoint on that is I kind of think that the whole trying to tie everything in together and everything, it's just such a it enables, in my opinion at least, superhero fatigue even more.
Yeah.
I think because superhero movies and the whole like craze of superhero movies is so apparent now. And it's like everywhere. You can't walk 2 miles without seeing like something.
Yeah. Like if you look at the box office, superhero movies dominate the box office.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's not a bad thing too, but it kind of goes to show where you have like people like Martin Scorsese saying that this means, I don't know, like cinema's kind of getting redefined because of the superhero genre.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I semi-agree and I semi-don't, because on one hand I really appreciate these stories because a lot of the superhero stories, that's why the reason why they're so popular is because they're so relatable,
Yeah.
And if you want to look at it from a technical aspect, a lot of films aren't that relatable because if you're portraying something that is such an outlandish situation that no normal person would be involved in, like it kind of detaches you from that part of reality, I guess.
Yeah.
But then again, you could say that about superhero movies. Like, I'm not gonna be Spider-Man anytime soon.
No, I know. Yeah, there's that like mix of like you have these characters that are relatable because like they were human or they went through like blah blah, but it's not. They can't be 100% relatable because the guy climbs on walls. And the guy blasts lasers out of his chest.
Every time I say spider, I'm just like, come on, it's my turn.
It's my time. Like, hop on me, boy.
I think there was like a news article recently. Some kid like got sent to the hospital, and the reason why was because he was like, I saw a spider and I wanted to become Spider-Man. And he almost died.
That is funny. Hey, that is easier than the alternative. Get rich and be like Bruce Wayne. I had to win the lottery for that.
Very true.
And I had to be smart.
Your parents also die.
Yeah, exactly. It's either dead parents or spider come and give me a big old bite, and then let's see what happens.
Since we're talking about Marvel versus DC, I think we have to take a stand and see where we stand.
Take a stand
about...
see where we stand. X-Men Last Stand.
Oh
yeah, gross.
Gross.
But I love those movies growing up.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah. No, I thought it was cool when it came out, dude.
No, definitely.
Personally,
that's the past, man. Gotta respect the past.
I don't know about you guys, but I know I've always been a DC guy.
Yeah.
But I really try to support DC, but you know how they've been doing.
Yeah.
Hey man, I have hope. Like, you know, like you, I've always been like a DC fanboy myself, you know, like, don't get me wrong, man. I think I've always loved comic books, and I think all three of us can agree or share that same sensibility. Like, we all love comics and everything. And when like the dawn of the superhero movie craze was, oh man, it was heaven for us fanboys and everything.
Yeah.
But I guess if I had to choose one, I've always been a DC fanboy. That being said, Marvel we talked about, has been really dominating the charts and everything, but DC has been figuring it out. But with like successes like the Joker that just came out like recently, I think, and all the failures that they've had regarding, you know, their past movies, reshoots, different director changes and everything, I personally think DC is learning a lot. That I am very optimistic for DC's future in cinema.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Like, if anything, if I were to look at it historically, there's a lot of success that has come out of DC.
Of course.
But if you want to attribute that success, it's usually from the studio taking like a step back and letting the director kind of take over. Because the Dark Knight trilogy, it's all Nolan, you know? There's nothing I could say that... I mean, there's some critiques, you know? Just small critiques.
Of course.
But all in all, it's like a successful franchise.
Oh, yeah, man.
And I believe, obviously, without the success of the Dark Knight trilogy, I don't think the DCU could have been a thing at all. Yeah, or even like a dream, you know?
I don't know where any of the superhero movies would be without those movies.
But then, like, you kind of see where it went wrong. Like, I know, like, Snyder had a lot of creative control, too. But I'm not in his head, I don't know. But I would say that what I can say would be a critique of the DCU and why it hasn't been finding that much success is because you know that in the back of their mind, they want Justice League to be a thing.
Yeah.
And because of like that rush schedule, I think that's why we didn't get the Justice League we wanted, even though now we're hoping to get it. I'm saying hoping because I know we're going to get the Snyder cut, but like, what if it just comes out and it's not even that good, you know?
No, I'm
going to be so mad.
I'm optimistic, but it's like, I'm also realistic. Like, I don't know,
exactly.
Man.
I mean, that's the thing,
how
too.
How much worse can it be than the original one we got?
I don't know,
think it'll be worse. I don't think it'll be worse. I just don't know if it's going to be like the saving grace that a lot of people are
probably
treating
not.
it. And in my opinion, it might not be, you know? But
the thing is, too, like, you look at all of the news that's getting released for it, like, every single day, almost, you're getting something new, and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that was going to be in there. Wow, he's going to try to do that, too? No way. You can't please everyone, dude. And if you're going to...
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like, I hate to compare Zack Snyder to Trump, because he's not Trump, right? Like, I love Zack.
but there goes another Trump reference.
The reason why is because every time I hear something about it, I'm just like, dude, you're just blowing smoke up, like, my butt.
Yeah.
Because, like... There's so much apparently that's in this movie that like suddenly out of nowhere, like is supposed to be in the movie, and you're like saying, "Oh, you know, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do originally," which I agree with, but that was still a movie that they made.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, like,
I just don't want to say the other dude's name, but
it's like at that point you don't know like what was already pre-planned from the very beginning.
Yeah,
what he really lost out on showing to the audience, and what is just malarkey that he's trying to like throw into the fire and hype everyone up.
Like on a specific note, the black suit, dude. Come on, the one time he was like, "Oh, you know what? It was supposed to be the black suit like the whole time," and he showed a set photo of the black suit, and it was obviously an edited photo.
Yeah, it was just recolored, man. I don't.
Come
know,
on,
man.
dude. I would believe you if you showed me an actual photo that was supposed to be him in the black suit or something. Like, then I'd be like, okay, maybe you're not just, you know, talking out of someone's butt.
And I want to take a side note, or I want to make a side note that, like, you know, we're being really, like, I guess, realistic about these movies, but I want the audience to know that we love the superhero movies. Like, we want to succeed. Like, whenever a superhero movie comes out, no matter how superhero fatigued each one of us are, or, you know, blah blah, we still go see it. We still go home. We still discuss it and everything. We're just, because we're into this world, we have to like look at it from all the angles. Yeah, we're looking at it from all angles, and
like, don't get us wrong, we've been fans since the beginning too. Like, I can definitely say I think I saw X-Men Last Stand in theaters.
Come on, man.
You did?
X-Men Last
Yeah, I'm
Stand,
pretty sure I saw it in
I
man.
didn't
theaters.
get to see that in theaters.
That was
I
like
haven't seen it in
our
theaters either.
first Avengers. Like
Yeah.
there were so many people in that movie, and they tried to do so many different storylines, but it was awesome, dude. It was just like
Yeah, it was awesome.
we got the Dark Phoenix storyline. That's awesome. We never got that before.
I mean, we got it again.
Yeah, I know we did get it again,
But we
and
don't talk about
and
that.
again.
We don't talk about that here.
But we
Yeah,
don't talk
yeah.
about that one here. Greatest comedy of 2019.
Props.
But-
I want
Yeah.
to say props to Marvel though. Like
Uh-huh.
they've been really successful with pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
it seems like they've kind of found their winning formula.
Yeah.
But there are movies that just kind of don't do a good job.
They're just there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of like to fill in the slot. Like the
Like
next
Captain Marvel was the
leading
first one
piece.
that comes to my mind.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I don't know, dude. There are so many things that could have gone right with that movie, but instead,
It
you
just
know.
feels like, oh man, we need, or she's a character now. Like we need to squeeze in some kind of movie to
Yeah.
like just not have her just show up out of nowhere. And it's
Mhm.
just, you watch that movie, you come out of the theater and just like, what is it really? I don't know, man. Like, there's
I
no
think it
merit.
came out at a really bad time.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I think you should have introduced her earlier. You came out right after Avengers.
No, it came out before Infinity. Endgame.
Right? Yeah, right.
before
Right
Endgame.
before that. So
Right
then
before
there
that.
was a lot of hype and a
Mhm.
lot of
Yeah.
everything.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think they released it at an appropriate time. I just felt like they just didn't execute it right.
Yeah.
Like it's just there was no
I mean, regardless of the
yeah.
movie itself, like it made a lot of money. Like it's
Yeah,
up
I mean,
there.
it's Marvel.
box
I think at
office-wise.
this point, it's like success in terms of like quality of movie and success box office wise. It's two separate
Yeah.
things now, and I think it's so apparent with the whole Marvel universe. Like every movie is gonna kill it, even if it doesn't kill it as maybe like some other movie from the MCU. It still kills
Mhm.
it because it has that Marvel branding. It's like the hype beast
yeah.
brand.
It's like
of-
Apple.
Exactly. It's the supreme and Apple of like cinematic branding. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, Marvel. All right, I'll give you my money. You
Yeah,
know?
like it's the new Sony X Marvel collab.
Exactly. Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go. The Sony X Marvel collab.
And then you always have to watch every single movie, or you missed out, and then you won't know what's going on. in the next
Exactly.
one.
I don't know about that, dude. Okay, maybe
Well,
yeah, you
not-
won't know what's
not
going
always,
on.
Not always, yeah.
But I know there's some people that just hop in and out of Marvel movies, and they're just happy to be there.
I think the general public or like the majority of people do try to catch them all. Don't you think? Like, for, like the
I want
commoner?
to say like I hope so.
I think so.
It's
But-
always gonna be like the blockbuster. Of
Yeah.
that week or
Yeah.
month.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah, but like we brought it up, and we talked about like X-Men and everything, and I feel like not a lot of people really. It's not that people forget, or maybe like they've forgotten because of like all of the Marvel movies and DC movies that are apparent now.
Mhm.
But we had this whole slate of like DC movies and Marvel movies even back in the day, like in the early '90s to the really early 2000s and everything before the DC EU, whatever it's called, and whatever before the MCU. Like DC was actually killing it, and I actually did some prior research and some fun facts for everyone. But in like the 90s and in like the early 90s, DC was killing it with the Michael Keaton / Bill Commer / George Clooney movies. I mean,
Yeah.
excluding the George Clooney one, but with Batman
Bat
Returns, Batman
Batman
Forever,
Returns is a banger. Yeah.
right? Batman Forever, and
Mhm.
Superman 1, 2, and even the eventual Superman Returns.
Very true. Yeah.
They killed it because if you look at chronologically,
hmm
those movies came out, or the Batman movies and the Superman movies came out in the early 90s, or I mean in the 90s, and they were nominated for, I think Batman Returns won an Oscar.
Yeah. Batman
Well-
Returns at the time had won like the most awards, and even then,
Exactly.
Superman 2 was probably hailed as like one of the best superhero movies.
Yes.
Still is
Yes.
one of the best superhero movies of all time.
Yeah, Superman actually, the 1978 version, actually won an Oscar and was nominated for 3 more. And during that time in the 90s, actually Marvel was actually very not present. It wasn't until Sam Raimi,
Yeah.
2002.
1999, right?
No, the very
Oh,
first
wait, no,
Spider-Man,
that's-
2002.
No, that's Phantom Menace.
Yeah, Phantom Menace.
Dude,
Hey,
that's not even close.
there's a red and black guy in there too, so like I get
Yeah.
it. But
there's a lot of critiques on those early Sam Raimi Spider-Man
Yeah.
movies, but those movies hold a special place in
Come
No,
my
on,
heart.
exactly.
man.
Right?
Go,
That was
go.
like the beginning of the modern superhero genre, bro.
Yeah,
Spider-Man 1 was great, but
Yes.
Spider-Man 2, though, one of my
Ooh.
favorite superhero movies of all time.
dude, agreed, man. Superman
Against Doc Ock,
Spider-Man,
that was
I mean.
perfect.
Yeah. Dude, the Doc Ock CG was pretty incredible.
Right.
And do you remember that small scene? It was such a little treat. The hospital scene where they're trying to take off the legs.
in the first one or the second one?
No, it's
Second one?
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the
That was
hospital
like a
scene.
horror
And it was like a
movie.
little, it was like a 5-minute horror movie.
Oh, when
That was awesome, dude.
Like the shadows and the silhouettes getting knocked
Yeah.
back and impaled, dude. That
Right.
was well done.
And the
dude.
chainsaw, dude, oh man. Or the
Well
little,
done.
it's not a chainsaw, it's like a little surgery saw. That was awesome though.
I love that scene.
Yeah. Great movie all around.
Great movie, dude. Like, especially, yeah, like you said, it holds such a special place in my heart. Like, Spider-Man 2 was what I grew up on. That was probably
Yeah.
one of my earliest introductions to the whole superhero genre. And then,
Mhm.
of course, like, as I got older, then that's when I really went back to watch, like, the older ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, man, Spider-Man 2 was just amazing. And it came out around in, like, the early 2000s. And that's when the cool thing is that's when Marvel had a really big place in, started to left its mark in like the cinematic, I guess, like stage.
hmm
And I know that it got nominated for right here. The original Spider-Man got nominated for 2 Oscars, and Spider-Man 2 actually won an Oscar and got nominated for 2 more.
Cool.
And that's when and then of course like we got X-Men. You can't like not talk about the X-Men series.
Yeah.
There's another franchise from Marvel that came out in the early 2000s. While DC during around that time, the early 2000s or whatever, they had their cash cow around 2008, the Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher
Mhm.
Nolan, and that was like those just. I feel like X-Men, Spider-Man, and like Christopher Nolan for different reasons, because there are different movies, but really set the stage.
I'm really
for
glad
the
we
future.
got those movies like growing up because those two, Spider-Man and then Batman, are like my favorite superheroes.
Yeah, man.
And it just came at a really great time.
You're really
too.
into animals, aren't you, Jonah?
He's like Spider, Bat.
I feel like most superheroes have some animal of some sort.
Yeah.
Not Superman. He's an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But
The other thing too is we haven't mentioned it yet, but I know DC has always had success with their animated movies, as opposed to Marvel. Like I know Marvel's
Yes.
always been like putting them out too, but DC, if you want to look at it as like cinema, they're pretty good, especially
Yeah.
recently too. Like their movies have always been on point.
I don't know if Kent likes the recent ones.
no, these ones
Oh.
are garbage, man. That's why I think while when Marvel was really being successful and DC
Mhm.
was like even before they even started making like their films or to compete, the only thing that they had were their animated movies. But I've always been a
Yeah.
big fan of their animated movies. Very well done, very faithful to the comic book
Mm-hmm.
like source, right? But with the recent years, I feel like they're doing that thing where, and then we touched upon it, where they're trying to connect everything once again and trying to create a universe.
Yeah.
And that's the problem for me because in the recent ones, they don't they're not always faithful, 100% faithful to the comic book. And I'm not that much of a comic book geek where I'm like, it has to be faithful one-on-one. I actually don't care at all, as
Mhm.
long as it's good. And I feel like they've just been just pulling, like honestly shit out of their ass
Yeah.
to just, I don't know, like make this story containable so they can connect it to this new universe that they're trying to
Right.
create, which is like the DC animated universe. And that's the problem with DC in the recent years. Like that was their
Yeah.
biggest downfall. They just
Like if you want to talk about superhero fatigue too, with like live action, there's a little bit of Marvel right now. But if you want to talk about animated, dude, DC has so many properties out.
yeah.
Like on a yearly basis, you just have so much animated DC.
Yeah.
Like it's a good and bad thing though. Like when you're saying if the product is good and the writing's good and it's kind of good as a standalone, then it's gonna
Mhm.
work. But when you're making it as like a missing puzzle piece to like a bigger picture, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
But
like,
what I
you're
can
focusing
say
on the
though
wrong
was
thing.
like Teen Titans Go was pretty cool.
Teen Titans Go was great, dude. Yeah, man.
Especially the second one, dude. They really went all in on that world building aspect. Dude, it was like
it was good. It was
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Dude,
No,
some of the
it's
best
good.
media from superhero stuff is just like the shows.
The
Yeah.
shows,
The
the animated
shows,
movies.
the
and
the
Batman
original
shows,
Teen Titans show was
the Teen
oh my
Titans
god.
show.
Come on.
The old
man.
Spider-Man shows,
Oh.
like the X-Men shows. Dude.
Yeah,
all those
yeah.
shows are
People
so
forget
good.
about that.
Da-na-na-na-na.
Yeah,
dude. Oh my god, dude. That was like what I woke up to some days.
Come on, dude. Like Saturday mornings.
Yeah,
on,
Saturday morning.
CW. Come
I need
on,
all
right
these
there.
cartoons to stream somewhere.
CW.
It was on for me. It was a lot of them was on this. Oh, WB. I mean,
Yeah. I
yeah,
was like,
WB. My bad.
no.
CW does have shows now, but you know we mentioned animated shows, and you know Marvel. I feel like they had their shows. I think animated movies have never been as good, but they really stuck it to us when they came out with Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, heck
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Right? And that's
Yeah.
like such a prime example of like, I guess like, you know, it was more of a Sony thing.
Yeah.
But like, you know, Sony really dropped the ball with like all the Spider-Man reboots with The Amazing Spider-Man, you know. I have
Rip.
Right.
Rip, rest in peace.
Hey,
dude.
Andrew
Oh,
Garfield
man. Poor
got
Andrew.
cheated. He got
He
cheated,
did.
you know, like he was great.
Andrew, it was probably one of my favorite Spider-Man.
Come on.
Like maybe even a little
Yeah.
bit more than Toby. Like
Dude,
sorry,
with Emma
Toby.
Stone as Gwen Stacy. Oh,
Yeah,
they were
that was perfect.
together.
That was a great casting choice.
Yeah. It
But
had
Jamie
such-
Foxx
so many
though.
good things.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx was so questionable. Why did you do that? it's like they casted Jamie Foxx, but then the character like that they wrote for him was just
Yeah.
the most oddball character, wimpiest character that I don't know why they went that route.
Remember Paul Giamatti as Rhino?
Yeah, they got Paul
Oh,
Giamatti as a
yeah.
Rhino. Why
And
did
he
they
showed
do
up
that?
for like 5 minutes. Not
Yeah.
even 5
No,
minutes.
he was-
Probably like half a second.
Yeah. He was at the beginning of the movie, I think. He's the first person that he deals with, and then at the end of the
Yeah,
movie he shows up
yeah.
as a Rhino.
He shows up and he's like, "Remember me."
Yeah.
Just in the
No,
big
no, we
suit.
don't.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
Dude.
Who are you?
we had Green Goblin, emo Green Goblin,
Yeah.
and
Electro.
and Electro. Jeez,
Oof.
dude, it was messy, but yeah, like they kind of dropped the ball with Spider-Man, and you know, and that's a big deal because Spider-Man's kind of like one of their big titular
Yeah.
characters, you know, it's like the equivalent titular.
That's probably like their only really, really big character.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Man became really apparent within like the last few years, but before all that, Spider-Man was their Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Totally was, and
Now he's buddies with Mickey Mouse.
now he's buddies with Mickey Mouse. Yeah, he's joined the evil corporation, the
Yeah.
House of Mouse. There
Only
you go.
sometimes, though. House of Mouse.
The
Oh
House
my
of
god.
Mouse. Yeah, but then Sony did a great job with Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Like that's a Spider-Man movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
I know we were
Really well
talking about it
done.
the other day, but probably one of my favorite Spider-Man, if not my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time.
Hit me.
It's Into the Spider-Verse, we were just talking about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was so anticlimactic, but
No,
I
it was
totally
so
agree.
good.
It was really good, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a perfect comic book movie.
Exactly.
It was. In terms of like animation style, it was
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
superb. Like it looks so good. The soundtrack was so good. So good. And story was just, and you know the best
Yeah.
part that we're kind of like we haven't mentioned yet is that they put Miles in the
Right.
main character role. And
And I kind of
So
like it
amazing.
too, because in the couple years before we got into the Spider-Verse, there's a little bit of teasers here and there, right? We got a
Yeah.
little bit, well, we actually got a lot of Miles in the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Yeah.
Then we got a little bit of a teaser in Homecoming with Childish Gambino, Aaron Davis. And he's like, oh, my nephew, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God. But then we finally got a Miles, like, feature film.
yeah, man.
That's amazing. And now we're going to get a
That's
game.
amazing.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. Like, would you have ever thought that we would have gotten like another Spider-Man that's not Peter Parker, but in like the main role?
Not
that is
for a while,
popular?
I think.
Yeah.
Because even right now, like, they're still running with Peter Parker.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
he'll always be top dog. That's
Of course,
how I see
yeah.
it. And as it should, in my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, like I love seeing Miles, and that's good
Mhm.
representation, like for the African American community, and it's just
And
it's
Latino.
awesome. And Latino, right? It's
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's just really amazing to see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
man,
story
I
was
can't
so
wait
well done, too. Like, there are obviously are aspects of it that are from the comics, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah.
like, they did their part in being as original as possible, too.
Yeah.
And I think every single, like, Spider-Man in that movie was, like, really well done.
Right.
Heck yeah. I love that they even did the Peter Parker of the Sam Raimi. Is the Sam Raimi
Yeah.
Peter Parker?
Yeah,
That's
that
my
was
favorite.
cool. That was
Now
sick.
that's how you do like Easter eggs, like
Yeah.
world uniting. It's like, you know, it doesn't always have to be like this grander
man.
scheme thing. It's just like throw in an Easter
Right.
egg. It's just fun for the fans, you know. Like
Yeah.
we're all a lot of the people who are watching superhero movies,
Mhm.
like we are fans. And
Yeah.
that's fan service. Service.
They
your
even got
fans.
Miguel O'Hara at the end too, which was awesome.
Yeah, man. I cannot wait for the sequel.
Oh my god, dude.
I am so excited for that.
Spider-Man 2099.
Of
One of the coolest suit designs.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Both of them are really cool.
I'm excited for that.
So we wanted to take this time to talk about the future of superhero movies and the genre, because there's a lot that's coming out in the next couple of years, and if anything, in like the next year, I think, with Snyder Cut and a
Snyder
couple
Cut.
other shows that are coming out too, that we want to talk about because they're very important. And
It's gonna be crazy. Like
we did talk about
Yeah.
superhero fatigue, but honestly, knowing that we have all this new stuff coming is pretty exciting, and I hope for a lot of other people it's going to be the same.
right.
So first, I guess we can talk about the Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut. It's crazy. You know, you heard our opinions like a little bit prior, but nonetheless, exciting thing.
Yeah, it's huge.
Very
It's
huge.
huge for the viewers, and it's going to be huge for Zach too.
Yeah,
if it's
man.
successful, I hope it is.
Hey, either way, he gets to release his take, and I think that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I mean, albeit like it's like probably like filled up with more stuff that he had originally planned, but
Right.
still very cool.
I
Yeah.
feel like you love or hate Zack Snyder films,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
I'm on the boat of loving Zack Snyder films.
Yeah.
And I thought Batman vs Superman was a really good movie
That was great.
Yeah.
for the most part, except the whole Dawn of Justice
Oh
thing.
my
Yeah.
god, this is
Yeah, we're
like,
going
that's-
here. We're going
That's
here.
controversial, dude. Ow, 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 ow. I wish I had that. I wish we had a soundboard for that, dude.
But
I don't know. I feel like
one-
we play with that too much.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
we would.
Knowing
One
us.
thing about that movie is just that a lot of comic books in general, like you don't have just one world. You have multiple worlds. Like you even have like parallel universes and all
Yeah,
that. Like we
it's
have Earth
convoluted.
2, Earth 3, all that. And
A to Z.
if you can kind of see Zack Snyder's movies and like his universe as a separate thing on their own, it's pretty cool to look at.
Yeah.
Like Batman kills in this one, which
Yeah. Well,
really
Superman
saddens
kills
me.
too.
Yeah, they kill, and that saddens me because that's
It's a Zack Snyder thing, man. He's
Yeah.
broody, man. Look at all
Dude,
his
like,
other
okay,
movies.
take it all the way back to Watchmen. Watchmen was
Yeah.
great.
There you
And
go.
it's like a little bit of a taste of what Zach was going to do with the DCU. I think,
Yeah, man.
okay, Watchmen wasn't like critically as well received, even though it did pretty well.
It did pretty well.
I thought it
I
was
think.
groundbreaking for the
Yes.
genre. Like, we never thought we'd be able to see something as like mature and like handled the right content as it did, because I mean the whole movie was kind of a trip. Like, to think that a superhero would be, or superheroes plural, would be in this kind of situation is kind of crazy. And at the end too, it did something that I never thought would happen, which was make me side with Ozymandias, which is the
Yeah.
villain of the movie. Oh my god, well done.
Back to the whole onion thing. Complex.
Yeah.
Layers and layers and layers, dude.
you got really cool characters in that movie too.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
Mhm.
Like
Even the comedian was really cool.
Yes.
Even though he's kind of a fucking dick.
That's his whole character.
Yeah.
Being a dick.
I mean, he's a comedian, bro.
Yeah. Man, like the Watchmen universe, like what I think is so cool about what's so cool about that movie is that, and what Zack Snyder did, I mean, it's a lot of it is because, or in part of the source material of the whole Watchmen property, but it's such a mature take onto the superhero genre.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, if you watch that movie, it's not, I wouldn't say it's for kids.
No.
Definitely
for
not.
kids.
Yeah, definitely not. There's naked blue men. First of all,
Yeah.
a big naked blue man in that movie.
Yeah.
And that's only like part of it, but
Big, not as in. Okay.
Oh. let's not
He's
go there.
tall, but
Let's go
you
there.
know.
Keep it PG. Keep it PG.
That's
Yeah.
what I kind of like about DC. You get more adult,
Right.
Not like that, but not
Yeah.
adult content. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like-
yeah.
It's darker. It's like you get darker themes, and
Yeah.
it's more mature.
Very true. Like, there's an audience for that, and at least with like the last couple of years, we did get something else very similar. Besides the Watchmen show, we got The Boys.
The Boys, yeah.
The Boys has been one of the best things to come out of the superhero genre in the last couple of years.
Yes,
I would say hands down.
Yes. For those who don't know, that's a Amazon original show.
Yeah.
You can watch it if you have Prime.
Carl Urban's in it.
Or if you don't have Prime, just rent it. It's a good show.
Yeah.
You know, it's if you love the superhero genre and you're just really tired of the same old thing, that is a breath of fresh air. And it's that same maturity that you would crave from like Watchmen, or like just you want some more mature layers to like the superhero genre trope. The Boys. Season 2 is right around the corner too. So
yeah, very close.
You guys remember Brightburn?
Yes.
Do I want to remember Brightburn?
It wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible.
It was cool.
I think
okay,
it was a cool
if
take.
this is The Nun,
cool
then Brightburn's
concept.
like here.
It's not that far off.
Yeah, I mean, all the way up is like Midsummer, and then, you know, you have Hereditary, but...
I like that scale, man.
Yeah.
I like that scale. Yeah, Brightburn, see, Brightburn's that perfect example of like good concept, poor execution. Like, I love.
Do you remember how they were trying to do like a huge new universe with that one too?
Yeah, they wanted. They had their plans for that one.
They were so excited. They're like, "Oh man, this movie's gonna be amazing. Everyone's gonna want to watch sequels upon sequels."
Yeah. It was just. Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Let's move on from Brightburn.
Okay,
dude.
yeah. So anyway, my favorite comic book character has to be Batman.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
we know.
Yeah, we know. But the viewers don't know. For the viewers, yeah.
I'm pretty excited about Matt Reeves, the Batman.
Yes, please, dude.
You can't not talk
Robert
about
Pattinson might be getting a lot of
Flack.
hate.
Yeah.
I mean, so did
as
Ben.
the new casting.
So did Ben.
So did Christian, honestly.
Yeah. Everyone did. You know,
I
like
think Batman,
Even George Clooney, even though he kind of deserved it.
wasn't
we've
his
gotten
fault.
a lot of good actors. For
Yeah, it wasn't his
Batman,
fault.
for the most part, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Like, if there's an entire list, and there is, obviously, but, like, if you look at the whole list for Batman, it's been pretty crazy. The amount of people that have portrayed this character, whether it's by voice acting, whether it's by, like, a live-action representation, dude.
Yes.
That's insane.
Batman's going to be a franchise that goes on forever.
It will get rebooted and rebooted, but to be honest, like, no one's complaining about that, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just waiting for Batman Beyond, though. That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, we're all waiting for that, man. That'd be
I'm
the
waiting for
dream,
Michael
huh?
Keaton as Batman. in
That
Batman
is
Beyond.
That is crazy news.
Anyone can be
Crazy
Terry.
news.
I don't care.
I think they're introducing that in the new Flash movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should
That's
be amazing.
a big piece of like upcoming DC news. Like they are trying to cast Michael Keaton as actually his original role as Batman in the 90s movies, Batman and Batman Returns. And I think they're trying to go for like a mentor role, like almost like paralleling Nick Fury from the Marvel universe. They want him to kind of like, they want to introduce him into the fold in the Flash movie, keep him on board, and have him kind of be like a tutor and mentor to the eventual I don't know why I said tutor. Yeah, he teaches her math. Like, and, like
here's your SAT prep book.
It's like right after you go out and you fight the penguin, come back for your math exam.
Just imagining like one of the questions is like, there's 56 bombs in this building. Penguin set them to 2 minutes and 48 seconds. How much time do you have? Yeah, I have 50
more.
Yo, since we're talking about superheroes, one of my favorite who played Batman is Pete Holmes, man. Pete Holmes is on another level. If you guys don't know who Pete Holmes is and you don't know you have any idea who Batman is, watch Pete Holmes Batman and that's Batman.
Where were the other drugs?
Bro.
That is so good. I think a lot of people know Pete Holmes now. Because of Pete Holmes, you can't watch the original Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh my
man.
You
god.
can't watch it the same anymore. Where are the drugs going?
I don't know where he is, I swear. Swear to me.
There's some scenes when I rewatched the Dark Knight trilogy, I was like, oh wait, there's something missing. But it's actually from the Pete Holmes show.
Dude, every time
Like
I
the
rewatch.
falafel scene?
Yeah.
I always think that's in the movie.
What, they don't like falafel? Thanks, that solves most of my problems.
Someone give Pete Holmes a movie. Please.
You know, I'm really excited for Robert Pattinson as Batman, but if he like broke a leg or something and couldn't do it, Pete Holmes. That's my number one choice to replace him.
It's a good understudy right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sign on Pete Holmes for the understudy. We totally back that right here. But yeah, yeah. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say my favorite Batman v Superman scene is the one for Pete Holmes.
The one from Pete Holmes? Which one
Yeah,
did
the
you
one
do?
where he's like on the roof and then Superman comes.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's like your greatest enemy is Bane. He's just a roid out jock.
Yeah.
I love that.
What's the line where he talks about his parents again?
It's like it's like boo hoo, your parents died. Didn't your parents die? Don't talk about it.
Oh my god,
Oh, man.
that was peak comedy.
Oh my god,
That
that
was
is
most
peak
of our
comedy.
high school jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of Batman v Superman, though, this right here, if you guys haven't seen it, it's in
Right there.
like every episode,
Right
is a
there.
gift from Mr. Keb.
You know who Mr. Kev is?
Yeah,
That's me, guys.
that's
That's me,
Kent.
everyone.
Actually, I don't know
Yeah.
if you're on my. That's where you are now, but
Well,
maybe not
whatever.
later.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little housewarming gift.
Yeah, but with the whole Matt Reeves Batman movie, that's what we were
Mhm.
talking about.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves, I mean, yeah, really exciting stuff. Robert Pattinson,
Mhm.
we saw the suit. It looked
Yeah.
really, really
It's
cool.
kind of a shame though that they had to stop doing
Yeah.
what is it? I don't know. Can't think of it right now.
Mhm.
Oh, On Location. They stopped shooting On Location.
Yeah, this whole
That's what it was.
the whole COVID thing just really pushed back and just affected everyone's production,
Yeah.
and it's a shame. But we'll get it and everything, and nonetheless, I'm excited, optimistic for it too, because I think like a point that I really want to get to, and why I think that the future of DC movies is so optimistic for me, is that they've learned so much from it, and I can really see just from their upcoming movie slate and what they're doing, their ideas, is they're not just solely focused on connecting everything. They're not trying
Right.
to just do Marvel. They're they're getting more open-minded to standalone films. And to tag
Yeah.
back to what Jonah said with the whole multiverse and everything, with the realm of comic books, you can do anything, and you can have standalone movies that exist. You can have multiple Batmans,
Right.
and imagine having that. Like that's cool. And I think that's it offers for sure originality.
Yeah.
Fresh, like a breath of fresh air, and it's a good thing to kind of like prevent superhero fatigue, because it's not
Mhm.
they're not always so focused on putting it
I think
together.
it can
and
really
everything.
work because like
Yeah.
when you read a comic book and it's just maybe a Batman storyline, it's all Batman. But then you go read another property, it's like their own standalone thing. It's like
Yeah,
you can do that with the movies, and then they have the Justice League ones, blah blah blah, and then it totally works like that.
Yeah.
What I'm excited about for the Matt Reeves Batman though is like we've seen a lot of sides of Batman from
Mhm.
from the TV show up until now. I think my favorite representation has to be the Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Of course.
Yeah, of
That's a good one.
Christian Bale.
No.
Shout out to you always. But I also love Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sad for him though, and just
Yeah.
everything that happened to him. But my main point is that I'm hoping we get to see the more of a detective side of Batman in this
Right.
upcoming film. I think that's something we really need to make a strong foundation out of for Batman.
Mhm.
And I think we'll be getting something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. Like with the year one aspect, it should be pretty interesting to see.
With the year one aspect, yeah, okay, yeah. It's another I feel like they're not, and I hope they don't do this, but it's not another origin movie. We've seen that so many times. But with the year one adaptation story, it's it's literally his first year as Batman. So we got Ben Affleck, which is his take on Batman, which is the seasoned veteran Batman. He's been in the game for 20 years, whatever, right? And with the Robert Pattinson, they're gonna go back to. I mean, it's very apparent in his suit. It's very homemade, and everything, and it's gonna be his first few years as Batman, and we kind of get to see him learning and everything. And like Jonah said, I think they're going for more of a detective crime noir take.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
should be pretty cool.
Yeah, it should
Pretty
be really
excited.
cool and just different, which I totally welcome.
And I know you guys are DC fanboys, but I gotta bring it back to my boys, Marvel. We have a whole new phase coming. Actually, I don't even know if they're still calling it phases anymore. But
Right.
it's gonna be insane, dude. We get the rights to Fantastic Four now, and we have Spider-Man coming along pretty well, and we also have the X-Men joining us really soon. with hopefully my take is that it's gonna be somehow
exciting.
linked through the multiverse of madness. So
Ooh,
we
that'd
got
be
pretty
yeah.
big things coming for the Marvel
I
universe.
think we're all
man.
excited for that specific
Yeah.
one.
A lot of new faces, a lot of new characters, especially some
Yeah.
old ones that we've seen before. It's gonna come out to be an amazing experience, I think.
Yeah, they're doing a refresh or kind of like a revamp. That's kind of
Yeah.
the way I see it too. And while like they're retiring like their favorite characters and everything, like
Mhm.
I think because because of that, because they're retiring fan favorites like Iron Man and people like that, and they're introducing.
Well, I
new
mean, I
faces.
think they're retiring almost all of
Yeah,
the
exactly.
original
Right.
6. Yeah,
Right.
except for the Black Widow movie that's coming out.
I mean,
but
Thor.
obviously, yeah.
I mean, Chris Hemsworth is gonna like show up in Thor 4. So I mean, he still
Yeah.
has that movie, but for the most part, everyone's they're kind of phasing out their old characters. And
Yeah.
it's the perfect opportunity for DC to wake up and start pumping in the movies. So DC fanboys, don't sleep on the upcoming DC movies. This has been your PSA.
yeah.
I just want to say that, right?
How do you think Wonder Woman 84 is gonna do though?
I think it would be cool.
I mean, I hope it does well.
I think it would do well.
I think Gal
Yeah.
Gadot is perfect as Wonder Woman.
I do love Gal
Yeah,
Gadot.
no, she's a really good Wonder Woman.
Gadot.
Gadot.
I also really love her specific theme music in these.
Yeah,
comics.
man.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they have really good in terms of like musical composition. Like
Mhm.
the DC had an amazing soundtrack. Like movie aside
Yeah,
and
dude.
everything, they really pulled all the stops for the soundtrack. For Man of Steel, from Man of Steel to Batman v Superman to even Justice League partly and everything.
Mhm.
So that department is taken care of. Now they just gotta focus on making everything else not garbage. So
Yeah.
mhm.
So we got a lot of big things coming for the superhero genre. Fanboys like us, we're really excited for it. But I think we've talked enough about it. We kind of kept it really broad though, but it goes to show that there's just so much to talk about when you're talking about films like superhero films or even like television properties. There's just a whole universe there that anybody can jump into, I think. Like we all started at different times and with different things. DC, Marvel, you never know, like maybe someone is going to start out with The Boys and get into DC or Marvel after that.
Right, yeah.
But if
It's
you
a
guys
good
want to hear us
intro,
talk
right?
more
Yeah.
about superheroes, we can always do another episode. Maybe bring someone on as a guest too, just to see their take.
That would be fun.
But things to look forward to, I guess, episode 5. Episode 5. It's hard to say, or it's weird to say, because we've never had an episode 5.
We'll do it, don't worry.
Yeah,
can do
we'll
it.
be there. Don't worry. Yeah.
I hope everyone's
Stay
loving all the content.
Yeah, thanks for all the
working.
support so far. It's really cool that we still get to do this, especially with how the world is going on right now. I think it's kind of an escape for us, and it's still our passion project. No matter how much we've kind of had to work around or like work through, we're still here. So we're gonna keep putting out content for you
It's
guys.
fun for us. We like
Yeah,
it too.
no, it's fun.
So
Yeah.
I hope it's fun for
Yeah.
you guys too.
But if you guys like it too, yeah, show your support, please. Let us know what you
Exactly.
think down in the comments. Subscribe or like our videos. The support always goes a long way. But thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you guys. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Like always. Forgot to mention that last video. I did a poor
Every
job
video.
as host. No, we did it the first like 2 videos. I just
Did
kinda
we?
messed up last
Oh.
one, but comment, like, subscribe. Delirium Hour.
But also, one more quick thing. We'd like to thank Kent over here because he is the backbone of this thing,
it's not
doing
my-
all the hard work. Thank you,
Not-
sir.
It's fine. It's a pleasure. I love editing, so that's my thing. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Love
we'll see
you.
you guys next time. Thanks
Later,
for being here.
guys.
Laters. Out.